Okay, welcome. This is our lab number 1 for the Angels course, and I have kind of a interesting uh, process that I'm going to present today that I'm playing with for myself. So I thought I would play with it with you too, and we'll see how that goes. It has to do with creating more abundance, and also it's related to the idea of pure potential, of manifesting things with pure potential. So we're going to be going into that in a few minutes. I'm really happy again to be doing the labs. It's always, I think it's so important to have those opportunities to connect. I like it that it's a little less formal and more interactive. And of course, for those of you who have an opportunity to practice, that's a real benefit too. With the reading we're doing, we're using angel wisdom, so we'll need the major and the minor arcana of your decks divided, because we'll draw the first card with a major and the second card with a minor. So you can do that while we're getting going here. I might draw a Sacred Destiny one too, depending on. We'll see how it happens. That might be coming in. That'll be the next deck we'll be using. So I wanted to just start. We're going to be practicing the basic process that we do with Angel Wisdom, drawing the one major, then one minor for the main picture, and then the kind of the the minor, the more. I connect it now with the what you need to know, the reading where you the 3-card reading where you do the central focus, need to know, and then need to do. And the need to do, if we get to that, would be then the Sacred Destiny one, which kind of brings the whole thing down to earth. We'll just see how far it goes. Oh, there's Sunny. That's nice. So I just wanted to remind you, I know all of you actually are very knowledgeable. For anyone who's new, just to be sure to clear the cards before you use them. And being in a heart-centered state, what I actually have started doing, I think I mentioned this last time too, is I just, whatever cards I'm using, I just hold them to my heart for a moment and ask everything to come into alignment and balance. And at the same time, it can clear the cards and connect us with our cards. And I find that to feel good anyhow. So we'll see. Just an idea. A few tips. Of course, we're going to be going back into that soulful place on the mountaintop, and you'll have that opportunity. And from there, we're actually going to go into that space of pure potential to shift any area that might be where you're wanting to manifest something, be more abundant in some area, but it's not happening. And just to bring yourself more, actually bring yourself more into harmony with those things that you want so that they can come through. And I'm really excited about it. I've been playing with it for the last few days. I think ultimately, and those of us who, or those who have been around us, are aware, from everything I can tell, the most effective way to do anything is to go into that place of pure potential, which is essentially a place where some people would call it a place of nothingness. I just call it a place of complete openness. So it is actually, the way that I experience it is, it's a place where there's no separation between anything. So if you're in that space, anything is possible. And in relation to the idea of morphic fields, if there are waves and solids, or however that goes with the science, you want to be shifting rather than in that space where you're in a given reality or morphic field, into that place where you're actually, the potential is there, which is the wave. So you can shift from one reality to another pretty much instantaneously. And we use it in a number of ways. already, and this is just an experiment with it. We'll see what you think and how that works for you today. I think this is a good group. We have an experienced group here, so it should be a lot of fun. Um, so again, we're going to be drawing the first card from the major arcana. For anyone who might be listening, if it's new to you, the major arcana is the big picture. So it's the major patterns that are might be going on in your life, the 22 major arcana, and then the minor arcana. It's like you could say these are the small secrets, the little things, the day to day, more the day to day areas that might be involved. So, what we're going to do actually is we're going to do a process going into that field of pure potential and shifting something. You might want to start while I'm talking, start thinking about something you might want to shift, some area where you'd like to have more abundance. It can be anything, health, abundance. It could be actually anything, however you want to define it. We're specifically looking at abundance as a theme in this course, but it could be anything that is not coming to you that feels like for some reason it's not there. This is a way to bring it possibly more into what I'm calling the your field of possibilities, or it really within your energetic field. That's the way I would interpret it more literally. But you could say that in that area where things are possible rather than out somewhere that's a far away. And we do imagine when something seems unrealizable to us, feels that way to us, if you look at it in your inner vision and you just ask where it is in relation to you in a landscape, you say, um, how how far away is it? You know, how far away is it, or how close is it? Because you want to bring it right into your that field. You could also call it your field of influence. These are just terms, however you want to look at it. That ball of light around you, that is what's actually possible for you now. Um, so if something is outside of that space, if it's being prevented from coming to you, uh, in addition to having a distance, there would also be probably an emotion, some kind of feelings about it, like sadness that is not coming, or frustration that is not coming, or fear, fear that it never will come, whatever it is. And I'm talking about these things ahead just so that when we get into this little process, um, you can easily understand what I'm suggesting, because we're going to go through these different things and basically the same mountaintop process, and then opening. Really, when you're in that expansive place, it's very easy to open that to that field of pure potential, because looking up above you, it's all open. So you can very easily imagine yourself in that place of openness, and we'll also be bringing more light in to enhance the experience. Hi, Sunny. Good to see you. So, before we go into that, does anyone have any comments or questions? Anything actually you'd would like to bring up now about what we're doing today, or anything? Okay. So I guess we might as well just go ahead with that. And as I mentioned, what we'll do is we'll do the process and see how it shifts. So everybody will do it as a group. You can do your own. And then once we get that completed, then we'll do the reading, which will allow us to really, you could say, just solidify it, to bring it more into our reality and have a clear understanding of where we are and where we want to go with it. When I started experimenting with this, actually, I was using the Angel Wisdom Tarot. And so I drew a card from the major arcana for the main the main focus. And the one that I got was Justice with Archangel Raguel. And at the time, it struck me as odd, like, what does justice have to do with this? But it's really fascinating to me, because there are so many ways that we are learning things all the time. And what I learned from that, looking at justice, is in order to create in this way as creators, to open to that part of us that is a creator. I think, let me see. I'm going to have to mute. I can't mute Sandra. Oops, where'd she go? It's not muting. Well, hopefully this will work. Anyhow, with Archangel Raguel, I realized after thinking about it for a few minutes that what justice is about is fairness for all. So I think a central part of this as a process is wanting to have that focus of, as you're entering into that place of pure potential, of looking at what's in the highest good of everyone and everything involved, which is really the ultimate injustice, I think. And so this also allowed me to connect with Archangel Raguel, which I hadn't done that much before. And it was a really wonderful opportunity. So I have this detailed information off of the internet about him. So I'm going to just read it before we start to familiarize all of us with it. So Raguel, his name means friend of God, and he is often referred to as the angel of justice and fairness, and is the archangel, it says, for the underdog, which is interesting. He ensures that all is in alignment with divine order and divine laws. So what that all makes sense. Archangel Raguel realigns us with our higher selves and resonates with truth, integrity, and balanced power. He assists us to rediscover and reconnect with the essence of who we truly are, allowing us to experience truth, integrity, self-respect, and empowerment within ourselves, others, and all our relationships. So to me, thinking about it, it just made so much sense to invite Archangel Raguel to join us in this experience. One other thing I wanted to add is this is going to be a visualization with several different parts, not a huge number, but enough that you might want to have a pen and paper available so that you can write down what you're getting. Like if I ask, well, how far is it away? Just jot it down. For myself, at least, I often think, well, gee, this insight came to me and I'm never going to forget it. And 10 minutes later, especially if I'm in an altered state, it might be gone. So I think that's a really good place to start. And then just be aware also we'll be doing this process with relaxation and have the intention that you're going to be able to be in a relaxed state with a very focused attention so that you'll be able to follow the whole process rather than just kind of zoning out and missing the whole thing, which some people say that happens sometimes. And if it does, it's fine. I'm sure we'll have a good time anyhow today. But I am curious also to get some of your input on how this is for you, because, we'll see where we go with pure potential with this. So anything before I start? We ready? Okay. So again, the first thing is to consider an area where you'd like more abundance. And like I said, it could be anything: health, wealth, relationships, and it could be just a related area where there's something that you're wanting to create and it's just not coming in, however you want to define that. And before we actually start the visualization, just in your mind, focus on that thing, whatever it is that you're wanting to bring into your reality, and notice how far away it is. I'm going to do one myself, I think. And how that feels that it's that far away, however far it is. And anything else that you might want to notice about it before we start, because then we'll be doing a before and after with that. So it might also include how it makes you feel about yourself, which is interesting because spiritually, that's really the bottom line is when we feel good about ourselves, everything feels good. When something's not happening, what does that mean? What does that mean in relation to how you feel about who you are? Okay. And with that, we're going to just start the way we usually do with our process by closing our eyes and breathing in the most amazing, wonderful love and light from the universe and the angels, obviously, all around you, asking them to bless you with love, with light. And as you exhale, releasing, just letting go of anything that's not serving you now. Any energy that feels heavy or discordant, just letting it go. And as you're breathing, also asking any energy that's not your own, that's in your space, which would be your body or that ball of light and energy around you. Just ask any energy that's in that space to go back where it came from, if it's not your own, from other people, times, and places. Send it lovingly. And then similarly, bringing all of your own energy back, anything that can come back to you now that you've left somewhere else or sometime else. Just feeling more present and complete in the moment. And we can invite Archangel Raguel to join us. It's often experienced as a beautiful light, maybe powder blue energy. So just ask him to surround you with his light. Again, focusing on divine order and everything being in harmony. And as we go into the shift here of being in that place where our intention is to create for the highest good for everyone and everything concerned. So you can feel his energy supporting you. And with that, we can also invite in Archangel Michael, which is a good idea for protection. I always envision him just behind me, and it's like he has my back. And then imagine rising up to that beautiful, mystical mountaintop that's way high up above all of the mass consciousness platforms and things that might have an impact on us in a place that is essentially open, an open space. And arriving at that mystical mountaintop, just noticing what it's like, that expansive view, allowing yourself to imagine looking out for miles and miles with the beauty of the earth around you, the beauty of the heavens above you. And from this, the next thing that we want to do is bring in more of our own power, which is that magnificent self that is us, that transcendent, that master within us, the creator within us. So you can imagine the light of the divine above you and just ask it to flow down over you, inviting more of your own magnificence in to your space. Just beautiful light. Again, all around you and into your body, into all of the cells of your body. So this is really the more of you. in the highest sense, more of your power, more of your creative ability, more of your aliveness. And just feel that within you and all around you. And with that, also, with whatever your impression is of how large that field of light is around you, to expand that out. As the light comes in, you may be able to receive even more light, and that expands even more. And theoretically, it could just expand out so that there's no separation between you and anything. And just feeling completely like you, like yourself, in a very divine sense. And it feels like Raguel is suggesting just sense what it's like to experience your divine nature. Just a magnificent spiritual being, a creator, because the creator and you are one. And then again, just allowing that space around you to go out, extend out as far as you can, creating a lot of space for those things that want to come in to be able to enter. And now notice that pure sense of spaciousness around you. You're pretty much almost in outer space. So it's completely open. And of course, love is there. Love is energetically connectedness. So feeling that love in your heart and how everything at that level is love. And if you haven't before, or if you have, just imagining what that's like, that space you could call the field of pure potential, like being in that place with a completely open mind, no agendas, no restrictions, just openness to the divine. And from that place of pure openness, where nothing is fixed and nothing is limited, just ask what else might be possible for that, whatever it is that you are wanting to bring into your field. It's a simple question. What else might be possible? It's not, again, no agendas, no expectations, even just allowing pure light to be there. And then notice in your mind going back to that image of that thing you were looking for, bringing into your reality where we started. If it is anywhere different now, if there's anything about it that is worth noting. I mean, does it feel like it's within that field of possibilities for you, within your field of influence? And how do you feel about being able to create that emotionally? And how do you feel about yourself? And just taking a moment before we come back to notice what there is to notice. That's what I always kind of ask myself after moving into that place of pure potential. Just notice what you notice. Any messages for you, your sense of what's happening in relation to that thing that you want to manifest or create. And from here, what we're going to do next is we're going to come back down, which doesn't mean we have to leave that field of pure potential. I'm not sure we ever have to leave it. I think we do leave it. But we're going to come back, floating back down where we started, where you're sitting or resting, with your feet firmly on the ground, grounding yourself. So what we're talking about also is bringing spirit into form. So we're bringing it all the way down to earth. And then breathing in more active energy, returning to your normal waking state. Taking another couple nice breaths. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. So I really would like to hear from a couple people what you're noticing, what you noticed from the process, and where you are now in relation to where you started. I noticed a big shift myself. I was surrounded by loving people. Not that I'm not already, but in a different way, in a way that I would really appreciate. So anyone want to share? Sunny, do you want to share?
Sure, I was waiting for anybody else who would want first. So I guess I'll go first. I'm still coming back to my body. I kind
Right,
of
yeah,
rushed.
we were way out there.
Yes, and sorry I was a couple of minutes late. I was coming from work and then dropping, and it was so beautiful. So, and there was some noise outside my apartment, but I still was able to tune in. So where I went on top, the mountaintop for me was, I looked lower, it was all flowers, different color flowers. And it was just all I could see was these beautiful wild flowers. And to me, that was all the people that some of them hurt me, some of them lift me up. It's just that's kind of represented that I should just be able to love everybody because their soul is good. And one of them is my dad, who's created a lot of challenges in my life. And then I looked up, usually I would see one light, but this was all light. So there was not even a source. I was in the source.
Right.
And
Well, that's great.
yes, and Archangel Raguel, when I first encountered Archangel Raguel, was the energy was very sweet, loving, and cool, like a kind of like the temperature kind of cool.
Like a lawyer. Cool.
Yes, in a very nice way.
An angelic lawyer.
Yes, and the part that you mentioned, step into your power, get your divine self. I saw myself actually lifted up and floating, and I had this huge wings, and it was all light, and it was more like gold and silver.
Wow.
And I was in the space of oneness, as you mentioned, with everything and everyone. And what I wanted to create is prosperity and a wonderful man to share life with, but I don't even, it's not like I had a vision. This person didn't even have a face. I could just, there was no, I just felt that energy of how would it be, and living in a bigger home. I live in an apartment. I don't even have washer and dryer in my space. That would be nice. So that prosperity of joy, of abundance, so I can feel more abundant and I can give more from that place of joy. And when I came back, I saw actually Archangel Raguel kind of bringing me, delivering me back to my body, and that energy, that feel that I was feeling, it's all around me still.
Wow, wonderful. So did it feel more realizable what you were wanting emotionally?
Yes, yes, I actually felt living in that space, and
Right.
very,
And that's what it is changing your reality. Come on, sweetie.
yes. And I still feel it. So I'm still and definitely in that space. And I loved what you said. We don't have to come back.
Right.
and stay. We can
Well, you
be
don't
in
have
that
to leave
state.
it, you know?
Yes, okay,
Right.
that's the
We
word.
think we think that, and it's interesting that there is that you could say an illusion of separation, that it's actually it's actually happening. You know, we think that it is actually real when actually it's just that we think it's real, which is so fascinating. Well, thank you. Anyone else? Anything you noticed? Yes, Bonita. Hi.
So my field of possibility is I wanted more client scheduling. And it feels very close. It feels like it's right here.
How did it feel at the beginning?
It felt like it was right
It felt
there.
was like it was close.
Yeah, I felt like it was right here. But there's this push and pull of, well, I don't want to be too busy.
Oh, not
So,
real
yeah,
certain
so it's like I'm
of
wanting
your
to pull it in,
intention.
but I'm
Right.
also pushing it away.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Feeling
it is.
different at the end?
Um, I feel just very intrigued of that whole dynamic. So it
Mhm.
didn't feel any different yet, but I'm sure doing some kind of a reading on this will give me some insight. But I
Mhm.
just thought that was interesting of I want it, but I don't. Or I want some of it, but I don't want all of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So was that useful to everyone as a process? Did that feel useful? Good. Yeah. I really feel I feel it. And like I said, I just started doing it this week, so it's a little too soon to to evaluate results, um but I thought it was interesting. And we have been using, as I think many of you know, we have been working within the field of pure potential for quite a while, and I know that does work. It's just a question of how this process works in relation to all of that. Um, and then using the cards to ask, okay, so now from where I am in this moment, what is going to happen, or just what, I guess, yeah, what's next from this place. So the next thing then is to do a reading. Is there anyone who would like to volunteer? The reading that I described. So it would be for whatever it is you're intending to create. We'll get a central focus and what you need to know about it, and maybe what you need to your next step too with the Sacred Destiny, if it feels like time is right. Monique, you want to do it?
Yeah, I'd love to if nobody else
Well, you
wants
can.
to.
You don't have to say if nobody else.
Okay. Oh,
So, would you like to share where you are now with whatever it was? Did you have
yeah.
something in mind?
Yes, for me, I have this urge to write, to be a writer, or I'm channeling some beautiful writing. So
Mhm.
I envision a life where I'm looking at the water because I'm very connected to water and I'm just
Mhm.
able to write so happily looking at water and writing. It felt about 2, 3 years away. I don't know why that kept coming up 2, 3 years away.
Mhm.
But I felt divine timing is perfect, patience. So then I envisioned incremental steps in this office that I just am sitting in, sort of happily writing or channeling and writing. So it felt really good.
Mhm.
It felt positive. Like the intermediate steps were hopeful, and then the right side of my body tensed up, which is typical for me. I feel the energy in my body, and I thought that was interesting because the left side of the brain is language. I mean, not tense like energy, a bunch of energy up my right leg and my right. I thought, well,
Mhm.
maybe
That
that's
felt like a validation of some kind. Mhm.
yeah, yeah, for me.
Mhm. So, was there anything that felt like it was blocking before, that felt like it might have shifted from
Uh,
going into that place?
no, no,
It
maybe it
just
just
felt the
patience.
same. Mhm.
I need
Just
to be
patient.
patient.
Mhm.
Incremental steps felt
Right.
like the message to me.
So then just your intention for the reading would be to receive more insights on this
Yes, I would love
desire or
desire.
urge, as you said. Yeah.
Yeah. I would
Okay,
love it.
so what I'm going to do is shift to my other camera here. And I think I can shift. Let's see if I, oops, I'm in the wrong place. View. Go to speaker view, and then you should be able to see the cards big. So I'm going to shuffle. I've got the little deck here of, well, it's hard to reach over here even, but this is the majors. That doesn't look right. I don't know what it is. This is the spot. It's just that diagonal line. I don't know it's not actually there. So I'm going to lay these cards out and select one for. This is interesting.
Yeah.
The Hermit for writing.
Honey.
And that's Archangel Raziel, the
Oh,
Hermit.
Gosh, always with me on my left shoulder.
Really?
Yes.
That's
incredible.
wonderful. So
the senses that's Archangel Raziel. Wow.
It says, time spent in peaceful meditation and meaningful solitude. Shine your light as an example for others. Seek out or become a spiritual mentor. Self-discovery. Those are all different aspects of it.
Yeah.
So how does that feel to you as a message? Does that card say something to you?
Yeah. So so many confirmations that he or this being has been with me for many months, and that feeling of being patient and going within, it feels very appropriate. That's,
right, and what a beautiful being to have on your shoulder while you're writing.
Yeah.
He also, he is, in addition, if everybody, whoever doesn't know, Raziel is considered often to be the magician of the archangels. He also is the spiritual guru. So he has a lot of depth. So he is very light and joyful and also deep. And I appreciate that as a combination. It's really beautiful.
Oh, that's incredible.
So you ready for the second card?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm shuffling this big deck. I'm just going to sometimes I just let it fall open to wherever it wants to be. And the card that we have here is, which is a beautiful card for this, 3 of Fire.
Oh.
And this is the fire element, of course, is your soul's light, essentially. Fire is source light energy. And I'm trying to see if I can read this one. It says, planning for the long term, abundance from past choices, pride in the success of your labors. Be patient as you decide what's next. Which just to me feels like it's all falling into place.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost word for word. That's the feeling I got earlier, being patient. Yeah.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful, and I love this card. There's the ship, but it's not in the water like your ship's coming in, but it's in the sky. It's like in a higher in a higher realm.
That's so true. That's so true too.
Yeah,
I have to
that's
become
beautiful.
familiar with this deck. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, would you like me to draw a Sacred Destiny card for that? Are you familiar with Sacred Destiny?
I have not cleared that deck. I just opened it up today, but I would love for you to do that.
Well, you don't need to use your own, but also you might want to have the guidebook to read the message. I'll probably read it aloud too.
Oh,
the Sacred Destiny Oracle, the reason that we selected it for this course is because it is a combination of very high level of spirituality with bringing things down to earth. Each of the cards some of them are not actually right on earth, but most of them are very earthly And so the intention with this is the card about inspiring you to bring spirit into form.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. I would love
Oh,
that.
this is interesting. They're all interesting. This one
Oh.
is taking risks.
Oh gosh.
Let
I know what that means.
me see. It's not quite on there.
Oh, that's
I wanted them to be all where you could see them easily. So I'm going to read this one.
like a picture of it. Wow.
And I really like this one. We'll be talking in the next class, actually, which will be next week about this deck. Is it next week? Yeah. And how you actually, another thing that we appreciate about the images is that these are images where it feels like you could very easily imagine going into them. Imagine yourself in it and then just see what the message is within that. We won't necessarily be focusing on that today, but this one says high plateau. A high plateau is a large flat area of land that is significantly higher than the landscape around it. The sides, at least one or two, are sheer and steep. These formations are typically caused by the upwelling of volcanic magma, tectonic movement, or even erosion. Some indigenous groups call these tablelands Tepui, which means house of the gods. When you stand at the edge of one of these sheer walls, you can feel that you are in a place of the gods. And then each of the cards has a second part. It says the sacred landscape wants you to know. When you draw this card, it is time to step beyond your normal everyday life. Take some risks, face your fears, do things in a new and even unorthodox way. Listen more to your inner voice than to the voices and opinions of others. Rather than running from potential failure, embrace it. History has shown that those willing to face failure will often succeed in a massive way later.
Gosh.
It all feels pretty synchronous to me.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's so incredibly validating. I literally had a channeled message, and I'm sort of channeling simple but really beautiful affirmations, and I wanted to start putting them out on the internet. Like, literally yesterday I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I'm that close to just stepping out of my comfort zone. Because the words are not mine, they're just flowing through me. So
right, exactly. That's what it is.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I was literally just saying, press the button, don't press the button. All right, one of these days I'll press that button, take that risk.
Yeah.
Embrace it. That's incredibly insightful. That's lovely.
Yeah, very validating. Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, this particular reading makes me think, we often say that we don't like to give people yes/no readings, kind of like, should I do this? Or when is this going to happen? That kind of thing. What we prefer to do actually is to do a reading just asking for validation one way or another to give more insight to the person. And I feel that was what this did. Like, should I do this or that? Or it felt like it just brought clarity. And that is really what we want for ourselves, I think, and for other people too. I mean, if you tell them, yes, you should do that, or no, you shouldn't, and they don't understand it in their own hearts, what does that mean? I mean, it means that you're asking them to rely on a source outside of themselves for their own truth, which to me is a tremendous disservice to any person.
That's so true.
And yet, if people ask a yes/no question, you can then say, well, what I'd like to do is get more insights to help you to understand more clearly what the right direction is. And it seems to work. So I just thought I'd mention that with this one, because it did seem like it was really helping you to get clear.
Really, really accurate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Raziel, of course, I always love Raziel. He's so amazing. Beautiful.
Yes,
And he's standing there on top of the world. He's in a place of pure potential for sure.
That's so beautiful. I'm gonna look up Raziel. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so anyone comments, questions, anything on that reading? So let's see, with so Hope and who was it who was leaving? I forget now. I can't remember. Monique and Hope?
It was
I'm
unfortunately
here now. No, I'm here
Oh,
now.
you're here.
I had a rocky intro. I'm
I
here.
see. You're here.
I'm sick,
So-
but I'm here.
Okay. Is Monique the only one leaving then?
yeah, I unfortunately.
Okay,
Have
so
to
we have
leave.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 others. And what we could do is go into 2 groups. One group will be 3, obviously, and one group will be 2. And then Monique, you're left out. I guess,
Can I
I
go
mean,
in
if you want to
3?
stay for a few more minutes, we could put you in as a third
Sure.
person.
Yeah.
And then you just leave whenever you need to. Yes,
Yes,
Sunny, hi.
Yes, I have to leave very soon too. Maybe Monique and I can have a short one. I don't know if that would work. Whenever
Well, what I
Monique
was
is-
thinking is putting both of you as a third person in the other groups.
Oh, okay.
So
three
there
and
would
three.
be, each group would be left with 2. So we'll do 3 and 3 to
Okay.
begin.
Mhm.
So what I'm going to do is, Sandra, are you familiar with the breakout groups?
No, this is my first time.
Okay. Well, what happens is, and it's a technological wonder of some kind, that you can go into like a room, a private room with several people, and do a reading or whatever it is. So there would be 2 private rooms. I should put you in with, let me see. Well, who has cards for one thing? This might be, okay, so we have, well, Monique, you don't count because you're leaving. So we have 2 people with cards. I guess what we'll do is, I think that probably will work. You'll have to be the ones doing the readings since you're the ones with the cards. And I
Jane,
guess,
can you very quickly run over the 3 cards again, just so.
okay, yeah, and
Right.
if it's too much, you don't have to do the third one. So the major arcana would be the central focus of the reading. It would be like the big picture of, and then the minor arcana is more like the day to day. So this one and this one here, the 3 of Wands, which is a really beautiful one, or fire, I guess it's called in this deck. It's about really moving into your purpose with fire, because fire is about being the creator you are. So that would be the details. And then the third card is like, how am I going to bring this down to earth? So you get this earthy kind of a card. Is that good?
Yeah, thank you. It was, I just wanted to be clear on the Sacred Destiny card.
Okay. And so you should have about half an hour. I'm not sure if you'll want that much time or not. We can just see how it's going. And I'm going to create the rooms now and just do something. So Monique and Sunny are not in the same one, which you are. I have to move you. Okay, so here we have Hope with Margaret and Monique, and then we have Bonita with Sunny and Sandra. And I'm going to put you in your rooms. I'll be coming around, and if you have any questions or whatever.